Hello YouTube, SKillous here, and today I have some educational content for you guys. We will go over one of the stats replays from recent qualifier that he played in. I will try to be as detailed as possible with my commentary. I will try to tell you guys everything that Stats does and everything that makes him such a great player as he is. And also I will try to pay attention on a very interesting topic that Stats is so good at. So I hope if you guys are playing StarCraft or if you are just watching StarCraft and you want to upgrade your game understanding a little bit, then this video is for you. The game starts quite ordinary. Stats goes for a Reaper wall and scouts a little bit for the proxies and goes for a scout to Terran's main base. Reason why Stats is going for Reaper wall on this map is because if we take a look, there is a secondary Reaper spot. So once you face the Reaper opening on this map, it becomes very hard to deal with Reapers on multiple spots. So it's very good to get a Reaper wall. Build is very standard. We go Cyber Nexus and now Prop Scouts. It sees Reactor and it sees that Terran is trying to take a CC. CC usually goes around 140, 138. So Stats is well aware of that. He tried to block, but it wasn't that successful. Now he sees that two SCVs are here, but at the same time, remember, Stats saw that there is a Reactor. So now he is trying to be as annoying as possible with his probe. Tries to make one of the SCVs from Bunny not mine at all, because it obviously needs to help a little bit with building these command centers, because obviously Marines will be late, or maybe even Reapers. Then they're gonna be giga late, because Reactor actually takes a while to build. And as an adaptation to that, Stats, instead of chronoing his Adept, he goes for chrono on his Nexus. And he already used both of his chronos on this Nexus. So, based on this scout, he won so much prop production. Because instead of using this chrono on Adept, that you obviously need if your opponent is playing once again a Reaper opening, he spent it on probes, and every single chrono is roughly equal to one probe. So technically he's up 2 probes now compared to what it would be if he would play a normal opening and chrono his gateway twice. After Adept he goes for Sentry. It's a very reliable way of playing against Terran in general, but at the same time your main army is not that strong, right? Because you have to build the sentries that is very good at scouting, but at the same time it's not very good at fighting. And as you can see, Stats is also going for a pylon here, and this pylon is built to block this spot where Reapers can jump on. So now, if Bunny for some reason decides to go for late Reapers to scout, Stats will only have one way of entrance to his base, which is obviously very good. So after Blink, he goes for Robo, double gas, and he goes for a scout. So if you want to take it, you want to talk in general about this build order, then Stats is trying to be as safe as possible, and after that he is trying to scout and react to what his opponent is doing. So with this hallucination, he saw that his opponent is going for 3rd CC very quickly, and after he goes for 3 racks and eBay. So based on that, Stats is okay. I don't need to build any units, because obviously with 3 quick CC Terran can't really move out on the map. And he just goes for a quicker 3rd base than he would usually go for. He goes for 2 sentries, once again, not a very useful unit in straight up fights, but a very good unit if you give it some time, right? It gets some juicy energy and you can use it for force fields, you can use a Guardian Shield, you can scout. Also, at the same time, he establishes map control, because once again he knows that there is no Cyclone, no like Reaper Helion, so he can easily put this pylon down. He can have an Adept on Zelnaga Tower, and he pretty much enjoys himself and gets everything he needs. Also, all the chronos that Stats had, he was mostly spending on prop production, because after this scout he was okay, I don't need any I don't really need quicker blink, because my plan is not to go for like, let's say, blink attack that can also be a reaction to a quick 3cc play. he decided, okay, I'm gonna double down on tech, I'm gonna double down on probes, and on map control. Also, these two observers are also very cute. Like this one sees pretty much everything here, and this one is here. And it's also very hard to spot because this is actually not how Protoss players usually put their observers. Additional gateways. As you can see, Stats is not getting any disposable units. He doesn't get many stalkers, he doesn't get, especially with Blink, right? It would be like, you might say, oh, you made Blink for only one stalker, but that makes sense because Blink is good just as a tool that you need always. But okay, let's look at this attack. Perfect force fields against Marines. And here we have a cannon. Talking about cannon is very good, simply because it's so cheap, 150, but it adds up so much. And building a cannon that early might allow you to chip out a little bit on your units. So once again, you can invest this money into quicker production, so you'll have more units in the future. So talking about disposable units. With disposable units, I mean like zealots, stalkers, all of these units that you're gonna trade eventually, right? And instead of getting these units, he gets high-tech units. He got 3 sentries, he got immortal, he gets more colossus, and now he gets a 4th base. Because if you look at the resource loss tab, maybe it's not big, but it's still good for stats, right? Because he killed some units, so now Bunny has less units to play with, and also he has, Stats. Stats has a Colossus ready and a very good map control, so he feels comfortable enough to just take this 4th base and take up to Templar Archives. So I was talking a little bit earlier about interesting, or like the things that make Stats great as a player, and this thing is having a very strict game plan. I think Stats is so good at that. I will dive deep into it a little bit later, and I hope at least I will be able to explain it as best as I can. So gets another observers. As we can see, he stopped after 2 colossi. Idea here is that after 2 colossi, you can have 1 colossus each side. So it makes it much easier for you to defend against any incoming attacks. And after that, he decided to go for a little bit more vision on the map. And frontal attack deflected quite easily because of the sentries. And as you can see, I was saying that this observer positioning is not ordinary. It wasn't found still. Like Bunny is walking over these observers all the time because, trust me, nobody puts observers in these positions. So now, because of that, Stats can easily connect when Bunny tries to attack into 2 different directions. And as you can see, once again, more cannons. I think I can reveal my cards a little bit, or like, I guess not mine, but Stats cards a little bit. So, idea that Stats took in this map is that he gonna go for very defensive play. So he will go for Colossus, he will go for a couple of cannons, couple of batteries. And in the meantime, he will try to switch out into Storm, which is also a very good defensive tool. I don't think, like, usually there is like this choice Protoss player makes, right? You either go for Storm to get, to be able to defend, or you go for Disruptors. And Disruptors, in my opinion, they are better offensively because it's much easier to use them. They can't get EMP'd in the field, but at the same time, if you go for Storms and they sit behind batteries and cannons, it's like, trust me, it's so hard for Terran to attack into these fortified positions. So this was the plan. We go Colossus first with Stalkers to defend, and a second layer of defense we go for Storm. And once we feel like we are safe against everything, we are starting our transition into air and carriers. And after that, we are trying to hit as hard and as strong timing with carriers, with 6 carriers as possible, and good upgrades, of course. So that's exactly what Stats is doing right now. As you can see, he stopped building expensive gas units, right? Like, he made these 6 High Templars, 2 Colossus, and as you can see, his robo is pretty much inactive. The only thing he is getting is these observers that he needs to establish some map control. A 5th Nexus, and as I said, 2 more carriers, 2 more Stargates, and a Fleet Beacon. Also, pay close attention how quick his +1 is. This is the sign of a very good Protoss players and a good strategic thinking in the future, right? He was like, okay, this is exactly what I'm doing, so I will start my +1 preemptively, so I can have it in time for my push. At the same time, we understand that this is also, like, this army composition that he's going for is very gas intensive, so all the minerals he has, he spends on these Zealotron buys here, and at the cannons. So this is a very good value move, I guess you can call it this way, that you spend your zealots to get some attention from your opponent, and you build cannons that are just very good mineral sink that has very good value. Bunny tries to attack into this little hole, but it's not successful because of the force fields. So these sentries are still paying dividends, right? Which is very cool. And this base is pretty much established. It's actually, now I'm looking at it, it feels very hard to attack into because like you have to attack either from here or from here, and it's very hard. And if Terran goes here, I think it will be very hard to do anything. Yeah, as we can see, storms behind cannons are so hard because it's very hard for Ghosts to dive on top of the cannons, because they can also get feedback, right, from a very long distance. And in the meantime, okay, yes, this Zealotron buy got caught, but at the same time, Stats realizes that there isn't a way his opponent can have a big army on the bottom side as well. So all the emphasis now for Stats is on getting these three more carriers out and finishing his +2. And after that, he will focus everything on this attack, because this is the most powerful carry timing you can get. He pretty much got undisrupted at all, right? So this is pretty much like a mathematical equation of, like, from StarCraft point of view, right? You go for a very specific game plan and you can see, okay, here I took some damage, so I guess this timing won't be good. But in this game, he was like, okay, I didn't take any damage, so my timing should hit as hard as possible, and I already played these games on ladder or in practice, and I know that if I get into this situation from a comfortable position, it's very hard for Terran to hold. And as you can see, 6 carriers are out, plus 2 is out. As you can see, no upgrades are produced anymore. Not from Forge, not from okay, he started with +3, but Forges are pretty much inactive. Also, for the timing of his push, he gets 4 additional gateways, which also helps him to attack, right? Because he will have a War Prism, and this is a very strong part about Protoss, that you can actually get a lot of reinforcements of the field instantly if you have enough gateways. And now, as you can see, everything, absolutely everything, is focused on attack. If you look at Protoss bases, boom. Okay, there is one High Templar here, but most of them are gone. So he took all of his High Templars except this one to attack, because he knows this is what he was aiming for. This is the timing he was aiming for, and now he's gonna use this timing. As you can see on the minimap, Protoss is getting attacked right now, but Stats is not even looking, because all of his focus is in here. It's even good for him, because Terran has less units. So now he storms, morphs Archons, Stalkers blink in, and another beautiful storm, and Terran just has not enough units to deal with this attack. More Stalkers warp in, because Stalkers are so good against Vikings, and in these pushes, it's so hard for Terran to have a good balance of the army. It's so hard to have enough anti-air, like Vikings, and enough anti-ground. And also, Protoss can always warp in units, as we say, right? So it's very hard to have balance, and Bunny's army pretty much get annihilated, and Stats very patiently, by the way, waits for another warp in, maxes out again, and he just goes for a killing blow into his opponent's main. It's always very scary, I mean not scary, but deadly, I would even say, for Terran, if Protoss opponent can get into their production on the main, because when Terran army is disjointed, it's very hard to use them, right? You can't really steam pack, and Bioball is much stronger than individual bio units. So yeah, just like that, plan worked, and it gave Stats a very good win. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.